All right, guys. Hello, everybody. You guys can feel free to turn your videos on. Keep yourself muted. I decided to do a meeting, not a webinar, so that we can all see everybody's faces. I think that's really, really wonderful. So those guys who are here, feel free, unless you're like in the bathroom or, you're at work and you're sort of multitasking. Oh, my lighting is just terrible up here. Sorry. Feel free to turn your videos on. We want to see you. We want to see your faces. We want to interact. We want to, engage in this experience together. So if you can turn it on, if you can't, that's okay. But if you can, that would be wonderful. What I want to do is go over sort of this sort of layout of events, and then I'll just do a little intro into self-care, and then we'll pass it on to the next. So we are gonna first up have Heather Nieves, and she's gonna lead us in a body love meditation, which is gonna be super amazing. Heather is a whole lot of things. Let's see, I'm going to pull it up. She's a women's empowerment coach. She is the founder of I Love Me Yoga. She's the founder also of a podcast and host of Let's Talk Meditation. She uses movement and meditation and mirror work, and guides women on a journey to love themselves. And she has a son. Yes, one son. Yes, she does. She's a mom. And she lives in South Carolina with her family. We will then everyone is going to speak for about 20 minutes. So just keep that in mind. Next up is going to be Michele Salamanca, and she's a self-love aromatherapist. She loves self-care. She loves essential oils. She is also a mother, a wife, a business owner, and she is going to do kind of a lot of fun things around scents and experiences and oils and candles and all the things and soaps. Maybe, I don't know if we're going to do that, and talk a little bit about that, which is, super fabulous. Then where did my little thing go? Then we are going to, sorry, Jennifer's going next. I totally skipped you. Jennifer's going to go second. And she is fabulous. She is also a self-care guru. She is a podcast host, a life coach also, and is the host of Feed Your Business with Love podcast. And her mission is to create a sumai. Is that how you pronounce it? A sumai?
Tsunami.
Oh,
a tsunami of self-love.
A tsunami of self-love. And she's going to do some like artistic self-love expression with us today. And then we have Samantha, and Samantha is a yoga instructor. She is a self-care coach. She also focuses on mental health, and she focuses, I'm not going to read her whole bio, but she focuses on mindset coaching and spiritual guidance, movement, meditation, breath work, and she has a trauma approach into these, into her work. She is also a mom, and she does focus on self-care for moms, especially if you are someone who struggles with anxiety, depression, and addiction. She also is a host of a podcast called Self-Care is My Job. It's fabulous. And she's going to lead us in a yoga for self-love and maybe a special session. I don't know. And then we're going to have a Q&A. So for those who, we're going to wrap up, we're going to have a Q&A. If you guys have questions for any of the panelists, then definitely stick around for that so you can, interact and engage. All right. So let's just take a breath, everybody. It's been a morning already. I feel very frantic. So I personally just need to breathe, right? We just need to take a nice breath at this point. And, I want to start this little introduction with this quote by Oscar Wilde. It is, "To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance." right? To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. And think about that. This is going to be an event of self-care at its core. Okay. We are talking about nurturing and refueling you at a very deep, deep level. And this is essential. This is essential to living an incredible life. This is essential to living your most optimal, healthy life. This is essential to living your happiest life. This is essential. It is essential. It's a non-negotiable. It is a priority. This aspect of self-care can be physical. It can be emotional. It can be spiritual. It can be, it can involve your relationships with yourself. It can involve your relationships with others, even with your career, with your work, with family, with movement, with so many things. There's aspects of self-care in everything that we do. And it's learning what that means. It's incorporating that with intention. And it's giving yourself permission to practice and incorporate self-care so that you can have this fulfilling life that you deserve. When you can give yourself permission, oh my God, it will have a positive ripple effect. It explodes into all areas of your life. And it's just a beautiful thing, both on a personal and professional level. You can see this throughout your entire life in all the different aspects of your life. You guys, if you did the Circle of Life exercise, if you're in the program, and you've come to that particular place in the program, those are all the aspects of your life, right? This is how, you can determine what you value and where in your life you're feeling fulfilled and non-fulfilled. When you can incorporate self-care into your life, ripple effect, right? All over the place. And starting small and taking imperfect action, even just being here, is a great place to be. And that's what's going to serve you best over time, right? Like, less is more, imperfect action, staying consistent with doing something, right? Something better than nothing, right? And so keep in mind things like your values, waking up each day and believing today is the best day of my life because I am implementing my values and I am doing and taking action on the things that are important to me at my core. These are the things that are important in my life, right? When we talk about values, the more you're in alignment with those values, the more energy you're going to be vibing at a higher level. And when you're vibing high, right, you are inevitably going to be more productive. You're going to be happier. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be living from this place of present, intentional state of consciousness. And you're valuable to yourself. When you're valuable to yourself, your self-talk improves, your esteem improves, you can be more, you can do more, you can have more. That's what happens when you live your life fulfilled in your core values. You inevitably lead a happy life. And you guys, this starts with self-care. It all starts with self-care. Okay. So I don't want to talk too long. We have fabulous humans here. And so, we sort of had the schedule of every 20 minutes, but I just wanted to do a brief little introduction. But I brought in all of these wonderful ladies because they all offer different modalities and perspectives and personalities, really, that touch on this bigger notion and this bigger concept of self-care. And I love what each of these women brings. And so I'm so excited that you can experience a taste, a little flavor of what they can give you and teach you and show you and experience with you today. So with that, and so if you guys are just hopping on, feel free to throw your videos on. Don't be shy. Karen's the bold one here. Throw your videos on. We want to see your face. We want to see you. We want to love on you. If you need something in the chat, just pop in the chat. I will manage the chat for you guys as our speakers are speaking and doing and all the things. So if you need something, just pop it in the chat. Don't unmute until later, until the Q&A, but because we don't want to interrupt our lovely ladies, but I will manage the chat. So you can pop any questions you have in the chat or anything that you need, and throw your videos on if you can, because we want to see your faces. All right. So Heather, I am going to turn it over to you and take it away. Heather.
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction. What a gift for us speakers to be able to just hear the beautiful words that you shared with us to begin this event. I have done a lot of healing on my relationship with food and my relationship with my body, and the foundation of that has been meditation. So today I want to walk you through a guided meditation. Meditation, all you need to do is just simply close your eyes and listen. We're all meditators, right? You don't have to be a master meditator. You simply just have to listen. And if your thoughts wander, it's okay. The power of meditation is bringing yourself back to this moment again and again and again and again. And sometimes we need to do it a lot. And sometimes we're like, oh, wow, I was good at that. So I invite you to release judgment during your meditation and just simply listen and allow yourself to just hear. And then as the thoughts come in, because we're busy beings, just, all right, I'm breathing. So with that said, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and roll your shoulders back a few times. And if you have a notebook, maybe just save it until the end, unless something comes through that's really powerful that you must write down immediately. I'm just going to ring my sound bowl a few times to help us drop in. Let's just simply invite in that light that is just full of love, and allow it to pour down the crown of your head as you breathe in and you breathe out. And let's do a cleansing breath. Inhale deep through the nose and exhale with an audible sigh, releasing mental tension and physical tension. And give yourself permission to give that audible sigh. Let it all go. Let's do one more. Inhale and release. Maybe you need to shake it out. Meditation doesn't need to be rigid. You can move, you can make sound. Trust what needs to come through. Just give yourself permission to be here right now, simply listening to my voice. So just invite that light to pour down the crown of your head, resting the forehead, letting the eyes become heavier, down the cheeks, and releasing the tongue from the roof of the mouth as you continue to breathe in and out. Unclench the jaw. Feel that light pouring down the back of your head, coming to your shoulders as you drop in and we connect to our bodies, deepening our trust, deepening our presence as we feel and we check in and we begin to trust these sacred vessels. Our bodies are sending us messages constantly. So let us tune in and trust those messages and honor these incredible vessels that we get to live in. Continuing to breathe. Allow that light to pour down your shoulders, down your elbows, into every single fingertip. And just noticing your hands and remembering that you are your own healer. None of us are healers. You are your own healer, and we are here to remind you of that. So notice that light in your hands and place one on your heart and one on your belly and fill yourself up with the breath. Expand, take up space, and exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale big, taking up space, and exhale, let it all out. Feeling your heart beating, noticing if anything comes up, and returning to this moment as you breathe in and you breathe out. Bringing that love, that light back into your heart space. And you inhale and you fill up with the breath as you inhale love. And you exhale love. Love is simply a thought, a vibration. And you can invite it in and tap into it in any moment. Let this moment deepen and expand. And as you find a sacred moment of stillness, finding safety in the silence, in your body, feeling safe in your body. Breathe in and out. Being fully aware, let each breath take you deeper and deeper and deeper. Moving the light into the belly, placing both hands there. And as you inhale, feel her expand. And exhale, feel her contract. Rubbing the belly, knowing that this is a sacred space, that it is safe to trust this space, your sacral, your womb, your gut. It is safe to trust this sacred space within. Let this be a remembering today. We have such intelligence in our body. So tune in, getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Letting that light pour down the spine, around your hips, down your cute butt. Yes, you have a cute butt. Meditation gets to be fun and playful. So invite that playfulness in. If you want to move your hips, that feels good. If there's anything stuck there. And then down your thighs, through every fiber and muscle and vessel, down the knees, down the calves, through the feet, and let this light connect to Mother Earth, where you are the bridge between heaven and earth, from what is above and what is below. Let us pause and breathe, feeling grounded in who you are, that it is safe to be you. Be more you. Trust yourself. Breathe in and out. Let's just pause in this energy for 5 cycles of breath. That it is safe to be quiet and just listen. If any emotions come through, allow them. Continue focusing on the breath. I invite you to continue to listen and breathe. Let these words become yours. I am calm. I am alive. It feels so good to be alive in this body. I am so grateful for this body. I love this vessel. I am so abundant and I am whole. Yes, again, I am whole right now. I am not missing anything. I am whole right now. I celebrate my wholeness and my brilliant self. I am so blessed. And I invite you to either whisper out loud to yourself or within, I love you. I really, really love you. Not to me, but to yourself, to your highest self, to your true self. I love you. I really, really love you. I'm so proud of you. You're doing an amazing job. And thank you. Let's pause here, being in this energy as these words become yours, as you begin to embody them with each breath. Just pause and breathe. No need to rush on to the next moment. Let this embodied moment, this energy, this truth, to be more you, to tap into trust, intuition, and confidence. Let it move up through your feet, around your calves, spiraling up your legs, energizing you through your hips, around that cute butt, up the belly, into your heart space, exploding with love, to the throat and the lips, remembering to speak your truth, up to the forehead and through the crown of your head and back up above. Remembering that we can always access this energy and these truths at any moment. So let us breathe, giving ourselves a hug. We can slowly begin to awaken. We can wiggle our fingers. You can stretch, let your awakening be slow. And what I invite you to do is, if you feel called, to just write anything that came up, any words, any thoughts, any emotions. Sometimes these meditations can offer us a release. And sometimes they can be really activating, and sometimes they can call us to get up and move, right? So a lot of times we kind of have this idea that meditation has to be very like sit like Buddha, right? But there is beauty in sitting still in silence. There is beauty in guided meditations, and then there's beauty in moving meditations. So I invite you to play and try new things. I think Jessica was going to share with you the free 5-day Breathe in Love yoga and meditation experience that I have with you. And it's 3 meditations and 2 yoga sessions, I believe. So if you want to continue this, they're, I think, 20-30 minute sessions. And it's a free experience that I have. So to just continue to tap into this energy. And they're all different, but you know, what we put into our consciousness matters. And just continuing to show up for little things like this, little by little by little, they stack up and they really change our lives. And meditation is so powerful. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't go over my time.
You are good to go. Heather, can you send me that so that I can share the 5-minute meditation that you're talking about, and then I can share it with everybody? That would be awesome. Heather's also running a 28-day meditation in her fabulous group, so I can share your information as well over there. Awesome. So yeah, that was great. Thank you so much for sharing that. We are going to move over to Jen, and we're going to talk about finding self. And I don't really think my introduction will do much justice other than I'm going to let you go ahead and do that.
So first, if you have colored pencils, crayons, anything that's colorful, grab them, just start there. One of the things about finding self for me is that during my journey, I realized that I had taken on so many other people's strategy, so many people's expectations. And I really lost sight of that creativity, that inner fire. I mean, our creativity is that fire, is that passion, whether it's in movement or coloring. And so many people get caught up in their heads saying like, oh, I need to create a painting that looks like something. And during that, I've done meditation, I'm a yoga teacher, but I found this therapeutic art where we're going to create something with our eyes closed. So there is no expectation. We are letting go of our thinking mind, our seeing mind, and allowing our intuition to come forward, and then interpreting what that means in ourselves. This is great if you're ever feeling stuck creatively, if you're feeling stuck, like you just want to take that next step forward in any aspect of your life, whether that's in business and life and a relationship. It really provides some clarity and can also allow you to go back in time and work through trauma in a fun, playful way. So for this I'm going to do a little mini session. It's basically a meditation with art combined with a little bit of tapping techniques all together. And it's called The Art of Release. And we just want to start releasing all those things that don't belong to us, seeing things for what they really are, and moving through that perfectionism. Because that's one of the other things that I've struggled with, is that need to be perfect. And we don't need to be perfect. What you end up with on your page is going to be exactly what you need, because you've let go of everything, and it's just like meditation, you've tapped back into self. So what I want you to do is if you have everything handy, because you want everything handy, you can do this with paints. It gets messy. If you're somebody who hates messes, come back and do it with finger paints. Like, go back to your 5-year-old self that loved finger painting. But we're going to do it with pens and crayons because it's a little easier right now. But I want you to just kind of like sit in your seat, kind of like feel your body, get in tune with yourself. Put your hands on your heart if that feels like you can connect. Because right now, again, we're letting go of this physical being and allowing ourselves to just trust that intuition. And take a deep breath in and release it. And I want you to just start thinking about, is there any aspect of your life that you want to give a little bit more love? Is there any aspect of your life that doesn't feel like true to you? You're not stepping forward in a way that feels good to you, but somebody told you you should be doing it. I want you to think about that feeling of somebody telling you, you should be this way. You should show up this way. You should be this kind of partner. You should be this kind of mom. And how restrictive that feels. What I want you to do is to slowly reach over and grab with your eyes closed, grab any pen. And I want you to get down on paper what that feels like in your hand. Maybe it feels really restrictive, so you're scribbling. Maybe it's the path, you're drawing a line, but allow it to just come out and just allow it to flow on that page. What does it feel like when somebody tells you you should be a certain way? And allow those lines, those squiggles, those scribbles to just come out. And feel that restrictiveness. It probably doesn't feel very good. And when you feel that you're done with that color, intuitively pick another color and add another line. And just breathe into this feeling of somebody saying, you need to act this way. You need to be this way. And I want you to just keep grabbing colors and putting lines on pages until you feel that super restriction, like you've had enough. I am done allowing other people to make me feel expansive, this restrictive. I'm ready to feel expansive. And I want you to just feel this. And I want you to take a deep breath in and allow yourself to open your eyes and look at your page. Is there anything that you notice? Did you pick colors that feel restrictive? Is there some sort of a there's always going to be some sort of a meaning. I don't want you to overanalyze this. This is, again, just looking at it and thinking, I don't want to feel this way. And I want you to take a deep breath and just shake it out. Shake it out. If you want to stand up, shake that heavy feelings out. Because now we're going to go in and we want to change that feeling, right? We just want to just say, no, no more. I'm no longer accepting of this restrictiveness. I'm no longer accepting. I want you to take a deep breath in, and this time, whatever your non-dominant hand is, I want you to put on your heart and feel your heart. Feel it beating. How powerful is it that your heart is beating for you every day, whether you love on your body or not, whether you honor this vessel or not? It's beating for you. It's always there to support you, just like you are. You are your biggest support system. And I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to do the same thing. I want you to think about what that support feels like as you grab another color. And yes, you're going to draw right over the top of all of those other feelings. You're going to draw over all of those other restrictive things with this love. Feel the light. Feel your heart beating. What does that feel like? What does that look like without being able to see? Does it feel love? Maybe you're drawing hearts. Maybe there's a word that comes to mind. Write it down. Just allow it to flow out unrestricted. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about having to be something or somebody. This is about this moment right now, feeling your heart beating for yourself, caring for yourself. Take a deep breath in. And just, what does that feel like? How can that be represented by drawing on this piece of paper? And really feel into it. Give yourself a little inner smile. If you're not smiling right now, think about that love and smile, even if it feels weird to smile. Allow that to just come out, and that love and that caring and that bringing back to self. And allow yourself to just feel into it. Do you need more colors? Do you need more squiggles? Do you need a line? Do you need a heart? Do you need a word? Just allow it to come onto your page. And when you feel ready, take a deep breath in. Feel that warm hug and just love that you have for yourself. And open your eyes. And then I want you to kind of look at this page and think about the meanings of what it could be and how this expansiveness can show. And if anyone wants to share anything, we can kind of, if that's okay, if they share, I would love to just hear, like, what is it that you're seeing? Like, in comparison of that really restrictive versus that expansive, do you feel that love that came through and allowed you to expand? And there's a reason we go from this negative experience moving into this like love. And you can do this with anything, whether you're struggling with perfectionism, relationship problems, you can work through with this, allowing your mind to just let go. I'd love to know if anybody wants to share anything about what they see on their page.
Show my page. If anyone else wants to show theirs, I'm not very artistic. Feel free, you guys. Don't be shy.
Yeah. That there's so much like in here, like when I'm looking at all the different screens, you can see the difference in this, like, I'm in a box. This is tight. This is not expansive. I'm like, I love it. So as anybody know, ooh, fireworks. I feel fireworks and rainbows. I'm like, yay. But I'd love to know, like, what do you see and how is it that you can see this moving into some other aspect of your life? You're seeing these parts where you're closed off. Can you shed some of that to bring in some of this other fireworks and rainbows and hearts and love? And it's all about allowing yourself to see and really look at what is on the page and what that means to you. Because what I see isn't necessarily what you see. Like somebody, could have written down a heart, but that might not feel good because maybe they're stuck in a breakup. Maybe they're stuck in some sort of, pure hatred, and they see a heart as like being broken. So I don't want you to sit with it for too long, because that's not the whole purpose of this, but it's just allowing yourself to be free to express yourself intuitively and just be with that. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite. Whenever you're doing something and you get stuck, just draw it out, paint it out. If you're not having enough play and fun in your life, really play and fun and pleasure, we often forget about that. We often forget to be a child again. And if you look at a child, they're running around in joy. They see a butterfly and they are so fascinated with it. This just allows you to come back in a way that gets you out of your head and moving through something.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jen.
You're welcome.
That was really cool. And if anyone does want to share, feel free to take a screenshot and post it in the group. Like, it's just really cool just to kind of see what showed up for you and what you interpret that to be. That was very cool.
Yeah, and try it with paints. Some days do it with paints, because the messier it gets, the more you can release, because that being messy just kind of like lights that sacral and that solar plexus inner fire.
I could totally imagine that. It's like you imagine, artists with these big canvases and they're taking paintbrushes and they're like throwing shit against the, and then they call it art, right? No. But yeah, there's so much emotion that goes into it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Maybe I'll do it with my kids.
Kids are really fun. I was really powerful. I used to do these as groups, and I still do, but kids that are struggling with interacting with other people or not being creative or really have a hard time getting messy and outside and dirty. I had one kid that came in, I think she was around 12, totally would not get dirty. By the time she was done, her homework for the weekend was to go out and actually plant in the garden without gloves. And she did. And I got this nice, beautiful note back from the mom, like, I don't know what you did, but my kid goes in the dirt now. And she was so excited for that. Just that she found that new appreciation for the mess.
I love it. All right, cool. So we're going to move on to McKeely, and she is going to share how to find self-care in the mundane and implement it using sense and experiences. So McKeely, take it away, take your time. We are like so good on time, guys. So take your time.
All right, so hey, the first thing you're gonna notice is my accent. It's very thick. I'm sorry, I'm from North Carolina. So we'll just get that out of the way, because everybody always talks about it when they hear me talk. But I wanted to talk a little bit about finding self-care in the mundane, and then also using essential oils and aromatherapy for your daily self-care as like another tool to help you on your self-care and self-love journey. So at the beginning, Jessica said to start small and stay consistent. And this is a way that you can do that. A lot of people I have found they hesitate when it comes to like doing the journaling and the shadow work, which all of that is stuff that you can do and that you should do. But finding self-care in the mundane allows you to take like a 5, 10, 15-minute break and really focus on yourself. So the first thing that comes to mind is all of us take showers. All of us shower every day, every other day, like regularly. And so when you shower, you have to use soap, shower gel, anything that suds you up to clean you. So one of the things that I really love to do is when I'm taking a shower, even if it's just one of those where you like throw your hair up, you hop in, you wash, and you're out in 5 minutes. Even if it's something super quick, when you're washing your body, when you're lathering up your soap or your shower gel and you're rubbing it on your body, visualize all the negativity. So like all of the stress from work that day. Maybe there was an argument last night between you and your partner. Maybe you got frustrated at your kids because they weren't doing their homework or they didn't eat dinner. So really taking the time to think of all of the negative emotions that you felt throughout the day and washing them from your physical body and out of your mind. So it's kind of like a symbol, like the suds are symbolizing you washing away that negativity from your mind, from your home, from your space. And then when you're rinsing off, just watching it go down the drain. So when you get out of the shower, the tension from the fight is no longer there. Like it's done, it's over, it's washed away, it's forgotten. Maybe you and your children are having like a bit of a like fight. I know like when they get older, like my daughter is 6 and she's starting to have like back talking and all of that. So it can create tension, but getting in the shower, washing it away, getting out, going up, giving her a hug, saying it's done, it's over, like let's move on. That in itself is self-care because you're not holding on to those negative feelings and you're not carrying them around. And this is something that you can do every single day. I do it every single day when I get in the shower, even if it's 5 minutes. If you want to go longer and do 15, even better. So the second way that I like to incorporate self-care daily is with candles. So this is my joy candle. It's yellow because obviously joy reminds me of like sunshine. It smells really nice, like a clean, fresh fragrance. So whenever I first got this candle, I held it in my hand and I set the intention that whenever I light this candle, I will choose to find joy in the moment, in the day, even if I'm having an awful, like stressful day. So I sat there, I put that intention to the candle, and every time I light this candle, it's like halfway gone. Every time I light this, I sit and think of 5 things that I can find joy in, whether it be a stressful situation that taught me a lesson, finding joy in that. But when you start surrounding yourself with positive energy, when you think, okay, this awful thing happened to me today, but what can I be grateful about it for? What can I find the joy in the situation? What is that joy? That starts helping you over time if you stay consistent. If you light this candle when you get home every day or before bedtime, light it for 15-20 minutes. That's going to help create that consistency. And over time, it's just going to become natural for you to find the joy instead of the negative. So those are 2 ways that I like to really practice self-care without having to, number 1, spend a lot of money going to get pedicures or massages. And number 2 is something that you can just incorporate in 5 minutes. Like it doesn't have to be like a whole hour-long ritual every single day. Because obviously, like as moms, I'm sure some of us have full-time jobs, own a business. Time is precious and self-care is precious. So finding a way to do both of those, save time and practice self-care, was essential to me, especially as a young mom. And just doing those 2 things has drastically changed my life. So I highly recommend at least starting with those 2. And then you can play around. You can find other small things. Like if you like to take bubble baths, just giving yourself like 1 day a week to relax in the bath, play like some ocean sounds, turn the lights off, light your intention candle, and really just be present. You can turn on a meditation, do a meditation in the water. Just find what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you. But giving yourself the ability to play around and really find what lights you up and what lets you feel loved and cared for. And then the second thing is the essential oils. So I'm a certified aromatherapist, and I've been using essential oils since 2017. And a lot of people, when they think of essential oils, they like to use them for like sleep or like physical things, like bruises, scrapes, stuff like that. But essential oils have such a positive impact on our mental health, which is why I love using them for self-care. So there's tons of ways you can make a room spray. This is like my uplifting spray. This is a 16-ounce bottle, but you just spray it in your room. And that helps lift the spirits. So if you're having, like, if you work from home and you're having a really stressful day, you can spritz the room spray around, and that always helps like lift your spirits. Using like citrus oils, bergamot, lemon, orange, grapefruit, those kind of oils are really uplifting and boost your moods. Geranium is another good one. If you had a long day at work and you kind of just want to chill out, you can make a room spray with some of the more floral type scents like clary sage, lavender, jasmine. You can also, if you have like a meditation practice, or you do yoga, you can make a room spray and spray it beforehand, or you can get these little roller bottles. You can get a pack of them on Amazon for pretty cheap. And so you just drop the essential oils in here. So you're only going to use about 4 to 6 drops. And then you top it with any kind of vegetable oil that you have in your kitchen. Olive oil, avocado oil, any kind of oil works good. And then you can just rub this on. So even before I got on here today, I sat down and I was like, okay, we're going to ground ourselves. We're going to calm our nerves down, and we're really just going to like feel into it. And I rolled this all over my arms like this and behind my ears. And I do that every morning. Every morning when I get up, I have the habit of rolling on essential oils for how I want to feel. Like if I need like a good pep in my step, I'll use like the more citrusy, maybe some peppermint to energize. For the calming, this one has frankincense, lavender, and clary sage, which is really good for me for like calming and grounding myself. For when I need to focus and kind of like chill out, because I can be like a pretty like hyperactive person. And then another really good that you can make is a personal inhaler, especially if you work outside of the home. It probably would be best to use a personal inhaler. So whenever you can buy these on Amazon too, this bottom part comes out and there's a cotton wick. So you can drop 10 to 15 drops of essential oil on here, and then you carry it around with you. You plug one side of your nose, put it just upside, and then inhale really deep for 5 seconds. Do the other side again and again. And the inhalation of essential oils is really the most effective way when it comes to uplifting and helping you stay positive. But there's so many different blends you can do. You can create your own. There are a lot of safety information out there, so make sure that you're using essential oils that are safe for you. But those are just some of my favorite ways to use them. You can buy these cheap little bracelets. I think like there's different jewelry stores that sell them for like $5. They have lava beads. You can put 2 or 3 drops on here, wear it with you, right? You're at work, you're feeling overwhelmed. Let's say you dropped lavender on, you need to like chill out. You just hold it up and you just sniff it, like smell it. And the lavender will help calm your nerves to help keep you calm. And as far as like self-care goes with the essential oils, you can do the same thing with the candle. You can create a room spray and set the intention. Whenever you spray the spray, you're gonna get grounded. You're gonna like maybe you use it before your meditation or your yoga. So yeah, there's lots of ways that you can use essential oils. There's lots of ways that you can find 5 minutes of your day to incorporate self-care into your routine. And if you have any questions about any essential oils, feel free to drop them in the chat if you know that you need help with like anxiety or maybe depression or motivation. Essential oils can help with all of those. So feel free to ask me. I'll be here until the end. So if you need any help, just ask away. And that's really the bulk of what I have. I can create like a PDF and send to you for you to post with different blends and stuff like that. So yeah, you can use essential oils in your shower. You can make your own candles with them, diffuse them. So many great things.
Do you have something like that we can provide where like which oils can do what kind of thing?
Yeah, I can create a PDF that'll have like uplifting and then give you some like the essential oils and the blends that you can use. It doesn't take long. Like earlier, I just like jotted down all of the oils that I thought would be beneficial for uplifting and calming. But yeah, I can send you like a 2 to 3 page PDF with all of that stuff.
That would be amazing. Awesome. Awesome. I have so many questions, but we'll keep for the questions at the end. You guys, we're going to do a live Q&A. So definitely like write your questions down as everyone is doing their things. Amazing. So last but not least, we have Samantha, and we are likely going to move, but I'll let Samantha guide us. We're going to do some yoga, I imagine. So I'm actually going to move over.
Hi, everyone.
Take it away.
That was amazing. I just want to say that I'm very honored to be in the room with all of you lovely beings who are we're seekers, right? We're the healers, the ones that are healing, the ones that are seeking support, the ones that can see the truth. We're all in the room together, and it's a big deal when this type of stuff happens. It's about connection. So yeah, if you do have the ability to get into a space where you can have a seat on the ground somewhere, even if you have a towel or something, even if you don't have a yoga mat, you can do that. We're definitely going to move. And if it's not in the cards for you today to get, onto your mat, you can certainly just incorporate, sort of our upper body motion, our breath, and just sort of intentionally sticking with us. If you need to stick in your chair, it's totally fine. So I'll just real quick. I love that we were talking about the fact that self-care can look clearly, right? Like self-care can look like a lot of different things. And obviously, since I'm a yoga instructor, obviously I'm going to be the first one to say that yoga is this beautiful self-care practice, right? But it really is going to look very different for everybody. And there are even so many different approaches to yoga and so many styles of yoga that are going to be ideal for what you're trying to accomplish. So we often think of yoga, and very often it is portrayed as a very physical practice. And the physical is beautiful, and the physical benefits of yoga are beautiful. But the energetic, spiritual, and emotional benefits of yoga are all connected to like what is happening physiologically. So what we always say, and you've probably heard it a million times from a yoga instructor if you have ever tried, right? Like get into your body, like these little things that we like to repeat like over and over and over again. And it's like, what does that actually mean? What are we trying to do here? So we live in this world that keeps us so like constantly moving and constantly going and constantly producing and doing more and going faster and faster and delivering more and offering more and all of this. And we forget how to slow down. And the truth is, and you've probably heard this, something along those lines before, you got to feel it to heal it. So if you have blocks in your life, whether that feels and shows up for you, it can show up for you in so many different ways, right? If you have a goal and you're having a really hard time getting to it, if you have a relationship that is strained for whatever reason, if you have pain, actual physical, chronic, or acute pain, there are so many ways that there are energetic, physical, emotional blockages that are happening. We can't actually understand what is going on and get into our body and feel them completely until we remember how to slow down. And we've really just forgotten because of this fun society that we live in that really just rewards more, do. And not so much the rest, not so much the slowing down and the presence and actually being able to get into your body. So we're going to move the body, yes, but we're doing it as a way to create awareness so that we can remember not just, maybe at first in those moments when a sensation arises that does feel like a resistance or a tightness or a pain or something that we need to pay attention to. So yes, maybe at first it is when those things arise for you that this practice becomes ideal and beneficial. But then we slowly over time, if we practice yoga, whether it's, a combination of yoga, meditation, and breath, or even one of those individually, eventually it's something that we can take off of our mat and into our lives when we are actually able to become more aware, present, not only with ourselves, which is most important, but in our relationships, which is really of optimal importance too, because that's life, right? Connection, that's life. Having healthy relationships is extremely important to feel healthy and fulfilled and happy. So that being said, I'm gonna take you through a short practice. We're gonna breathe for a couple minutes and we're gonna move our body, and then I'm gonna offer you just kind of a space, whether you're on the floor or not, some time at the end of the practice to be still and just to allow whatever came up or is coming up to, will allow you to sit with it and allow it to unfurl, or just allow yourself that rest that we so often do not allow. And during that time, I'm going to relocate my computer. So you might see my video go off, because then I'll close us out with something else fun towards the end. So I just wanted to give you that little heads up. So I'm going to move myself back here. You're in luck because I have no problem being loud and my mic was not working today. So I'm going to come on to my bum, keeping my slippers on for the time being. My tootsies are a little cold. I'm in a cross-legged position, but you can sit however you feel comfortable. If this is uncomfortable for you, this is going to look different for everyone because we want to listen to our body. So if it's uncomfortable, you can have your legs straight. You could be seated in your chair if you're still there, as long as your bottom, your foundation, right, is actually able to settle down onto the ground. That's ideal because it's really allowing our root to settle down to the foundation beneath us and for us to feel an element of safety and security. So we just check in with that first. Maybe you rock side to side. Maybe you remove a little flesh from beneath the tush and see if that allows for an even more of a release, right? And so then we can bring that awareness upward from there. Maybe there's a softness that you can create in the belly. There's a lot of engagement that goes on and tightness that goes on in the body without us really knowing. So we're taking the time here to check in and intentionally start to settle from bottom to top. So then we can come up through the heart space, maybe take a breath and just feel your chest expand a bit. And then as you let that breath go through the nose, you can soften through the chest area, through the belly, and again, let yourself settle even further into the ground. Take another breath with me in through the nose. This time, see if there's just this very, very slight lengthening of your spine. So it's almost like a little thread pulling up from the top of your head. And then with that exhale, again, allow that energy to draw down and let yourself sink just like a millimeter more. Take another breath. And this time, take your shoulders up to your ears a little bit. So allow that just allow that resistance, that tightness to happen, like to the full extent, like get it out of the way. And then with your exhale, just allow your shoulders to totally release down and away from your ears. And you can take your palms down to your legs if that feels good. So we're grounding here and just taking a few moments. And I want to take 3 breaths with you. You have an option whether you'd like to leave your palms on your legs if it's comfortable for your arms to be relaxed, or if you want to take your palms to your heart. So you would just stack one palm over the other right over the center of your heart space. And I want you to just, for a second, obviously we normally breathe in through our nose and we'll continue to do that. But if you want to close the eyes here, you can do that now if you're comfortable with that. And we're going to take 3 breaths right into our heart space. So we're really trying to connect and open up our heart today, which is an energy at our heart space or at our heart chakra that is responsible for governing love, for governing joy, compassion, happiness. And often in our busy lives, there is tension that arises that really makes it hard to be open in all of those areas, to be energetically open at our heart space, open to love, open to compassion, not just compassion for others and shooting love at others, but actually turning that inward and showing ourselves some love. So we're balancing here by breath. So we're just going to take a big inhale, and almost like you have nostrils on your heart, right? So you're really breathing into that space and filling up to your full capacity. And then allowing the breath to leave through the nose and just finding that relaxation through the body as you soften. So allow yourself to soften with the exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. So a big breath right into your heart space, filling up to your tip top, and then letting it go. Maybe the belly button moves inward slightly so that you could press out all the excess old air. And then we'll do that 1 more time, breathing in through the heart, filling up the heart space, letting the ribs expand. And then, of course, softening as we exhale, maybe even lengthening that exhale again so that we can actually let go of what does no longer serve us. That CO2, we can let that all go. And then from here, we just take 3 cleansing breaths. So that's going to be in through the nose and out through the mouth. So we can empty out here, let your breath go. So we could set up for a big inhale, really big breath in through the nose here, filling up the belly, filling up the chest, sipping up it all the way up to your collarbones. And you can go ahead and open the mouth and let it go audibly. Let it out. 2 more times. Big inhale. Taking your time to fill up all the nooks and crannies. Open the mouth, and you could even sigh it out. And 1 last time. As we do this cleansing breath, we're really just releasing what might be blocking us here from love, from joy, from compassion. Let it go. Beautiful. You can open the eyes if you haven't already. Maybe you just want to orient for a second, just glance around the room, just come back into the space that you're in. Beautiful. So let's stretch it out a little bit, start to move the body. Why don't we take our fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling? So take a breath and feel that lengthening that we were just cultivating here. Take your right palm down along your side, and then take the left fingertips over for a good side body stretch. So if you find yourself sort of collapsing inward throughout this practice, we're going to try to open up, right? So we're like shining so bright. The heart is literally like the sun right now, the sun that we wish was beating on us right now. And then we can slowly take the left fingertips down. Inhale as you take the right fingertips all the way up, and then go ahead and take it over with an exhale. And 1 full breath on this side. See if you can breathe into the side that's stretching, like almost like you're blowing balloons up along the right side body. And then allowing all that space and elasticity to be made with the exhale. And then you can go ahead and settle the right hand down. So if it's available to you, you're going to unravel your legs. If it's available, you're going to take somewhat of a wide seat. Doesn't have to be massive, right? But you can come to this wide seat and then scooch the bottom just again, right? So that we remember that that foundation is important. We can feel our sits bones connecting to the ground. Soften the legs. I know sometimes everything just tenses up. We start to, oh, nope, I got to do it perfect. Nope, nope, nope. Let her go. Take an inhale, reach all the way up. And then just go ahead and let the fingertips draw forward and down and just find your happy place. So since we're trying to get into our body, we are going to listen to her too. We're going to literally allow maybe the fingertips to walk in, you know, two millimeters at a time forward until you find this optimal space for you to have a good stretch. You'll feel it in the inner thighs. You'll feel it in the low back. Notice what you notice, right? Is there more for you? Is there more range here for you? Or when you go for it, do you feel a resistance that just doesn't feel right? And if there's a discomfort that you can sit with, that you can breathe through, maybe this is the time to remember that it is okay to sit with discomfort. It is okay to breathe into it and see what we learn from it. We can take one last breath here and send that breath, again, like a balloon, filling up the area where you feel the most tension. And then allowing the exhale to kind of walk yourself out of this space. So nice. Getting some feedback. So if you've got sound, you might want to mute yourself. We're going to take our right foot into the left inner thigh. So we're just creating another version of this seat, right? Once you're here, again, connect through your bottom. Once again, reach all the way up. Maybe you want to rotate the heart over this extended left leg, and then let your heart and the crown of your head guide you forward until you can comfortably melt, right? So this can look a few different ways. If this is really hard on the low back, or if there's like a discomfort in leaning forward, you could always open up, right, along this right side body. You've got options. And I like to give options because I want you to listen to the sensations in your body that are allowing you to make that decision, to discern what it is that she needs in this moment. And then we'll take one breath. I want you to take your attention back to that heart space and allow you to breathe right into that heart chakra, expanding. The exhale allows you to contract and maybe even settle through this shape a little bit more, settling into it. And then with an inhale, we can start to walk our hands up our leg. So we have this mindful way of coming out of it. Very nice. So making it fun here. We're going to take that left leg that's extended, right? Whatever leg is extended. Just bend into the knee and send that lower leg out behind. So we end up in this little zigzag seat, or it's, you know, technically like a mermaid seat. And once we're here, take your palms down to your knees and just send your upper body in a little circle. I want you to release your root down to the ground. I want you to remember just how safe you are in the space you're in. And I want you to come back to your breath, expanding through your heart space. Maybe the inhale comes as this heart draws forward, and the exhale can come as you scoop the belly in and draw yourself back. And I want you to remember that you have this ability to really milk this movement. Like, you can take your sweet time because you deserve it. And, you know, also self-love looks a lot like awkwardness sometimes. So if you're feeling like this is awkward, this is not something I normally do. Yeah, sometimes self-care can feel awkward because it has really nice benefits on the other end. We're grounding ourselves here. Your bum is getting this little massage against the ground. you're lengthening your spine and getting all these other benefits. So we'll come back to center now. We're going to shoot our fingertips away from each other. Okay. So for just a second, look out over your right fingertips and then look left, and then add a little breath to that. Inhale, looking out to the right. Feeling your heart expand here. Exhale, looking out to the left. Feeling your seat settle a little bit if you feel like you started to peel up, right? And then we're going to open our heart to the right. So the left hand connects to the right knee, and the other hand comes somewhere out behind you, settling down wherever feels comfortable out behind you. You're going to take a little twist. So twisting in yoga, we're going to come back to our breath, by the way. If you feel like you've lost it, just come on back to that gentle, natural in and out through the nose. Find a little softness through the hips and through the spine. Take an inhale. And twist a little bit further if you've got it on the exhale. And we're going to inhale to come forward really softly. We're going to take a really tiny counter twist the other way. So it's literally just out the other direction. Maybe you look out behind you. As we twist in yoga, we release what no longer serves. So we have to be honest, right? A lot of times there is this resistance or some kind of blockage to not only giving love and giving compassion and understanding and affection and intimacy and all, and being open to it as well, being open to joy, open to receiving all of this. We have to admit that there are some blockages that are sometimes in need of us letting go of that so we can open up. So as we release forward, now the heart is open. We're going to take one hand, the right hand, back behind us. And this could really be either hand, so you can decide if you need to switch it up. And we're going to lift our hips and send the left fingertips back. So once the right hand is planted, the hips start to lift first, just even a little bit off the ground. If it feels right for you to elevate the hips further and open the heart and send the left fingertips back, we create this arch in our back. We open up the whole front body and take a really big breath right into the heart. This could look really different for everyone. I just want you to allow this entire heart and chest area to open up. We're going to take one last breath. Make this your own. And then exhale to settle the hips back down. Beautiful. So we're going to unravel from the seat, let the left leg go long, let the right leg go long, and bring them straight out in front of you. And we'll wiggle our bum down into the ground once again. We're just going to take a nice soft forward fold. So we inhale to lift first, and then just draw a rainbow forward and let the fingers land where they will. Maybe it's somewhere on the shins, maybe you're close to the ankles, and maybe you're touching your toes. Whatever it is, you get curious about what the body needs, even in this moment. So we don't have to check in and say, oh, okay, well, why am I feeling this way? And then go down the rabbit hole of the story about why this and why that. The way that we get into our body and reconnect to those sensations is by doing it without judgment, without a story. So we'll take one last breath here, just softening a little bit. And then when you're ready, you can start to come out of this. We just do the other side of that same sequence, right? So we're taking the right leg out this time and the left foot to the right inner thigh. And again, this is going to look different for everybody. There could be a lot more space necessary. Maybe we're tightening it up. Maybe it's less wide. So we settle through the sits bones, reach up, rotate over that leg, and then go ahead and melt any way you like. I like to lead with the heart and the crown of the head, and that kind of informs me where I am today. Right? How am I connecting? How far down am I coming? And then, of course, breathing breathing into the left side body, the low back. If it feels good, again, to peel this left shoulder up, open a little bit and open the chest, you can make that happen as well. Right? And it's looks like anything. As long as the heart is open, we're doing our job. So slowly we come out of this. We're going to bend into that right knee. Go ahead and find that little mermaid seat on the other side. And we can settle through once again. So notice, especially when we come into the other side, and we're always doing that in yoga, we're like making sure that we're even. I mean, balance is fleeting in life and within just like our physical body. 1 minute you could feel very balanced and even, and the next moment you could stub a toe or you could strain something, and it's okay. But for the moment, we're going to do our best to be even. And when we're ready, we'll shoot the fingertips away from each other. Take one really big breath right into the heart space. And then we'll take our twist. So we'll open our heart this time to the left, connect the right hand to the left knee. Left hand comes behind you, plant it wherever feels good. We're going to gaze out beyond that back left shoulder. And again, just think for a moment about getting really intentional about that twist coming right from your equator, right from your center, as we wring out the rag of dirty water, right? We release what doesn't serve us. We can come out of this or go further into it, depending on what your body is asking you to do right now. And we take one more breath. And we can slowly unravel, coming forward, taking that little baby counter twist the other way, right? And your body and the sensations coming from her will inform just how deep you go. Okay, and then we have this nice little heart opener. So if we windmill this left hand up and around, I always find it really useful to kind of windmill the arm around, because we want to be gentle with our shoulder joints, but we also want to actually do something about increasing mobility in those joints, right? So when you're ready, you'll plant, trusting into your foundation, you'll plant that left hand, shoot the right fingertips up, and the hips start to lift up. And then you decide on this side what feels right. How far you should get a nice stretch in the psoas muscles in the front of those hips where we hold so much stress. And then we breathe right into the heart space, staying open, softening where we don't need to be tensing. Whenever you're ready, you can settle the hips down. And here we are, just being cognizant of our time. Okay, we're going to unravel from this seat again, really slowly. Take your time, because there is no rush. And the quicker we move, the more likely it is that we might aggravate some part of our body, whether it's a muscle or a joint or anything. So we take our time. That's the entire point of this, right? So we'll shake the legs out as they come forward. And I think this is good. So we're going to come onto our hands and our knees for just a moment here. So check in with me here, see what's possible. If you have the ability to join me for another couple of minutes in some movement, palms right under the shoulder joints, and the knees are somewhere under the hip joints, about hips distance apart. Take the hips slightly out to the left, and then back towards the feet and around. So we're taking these little hip circles and come back to your breath. They could be big hip circles, simply depending on the tension in your hips and your glutes today and your low back. So it doesn't necessarily have to do with ability or flexibility or even mobility sometimes. It's about tension. It's about that tension that we're butting up against. And we're in the act right now of breaking it up. And so we'll take our breath to this and connect our exhale as the hips draw back, and then inhaling as the heart moves forward. So come back to that idea of your heart just, growing nostrils for the moment. And allow that breath to really lead from the heart space. We'll take a couple more rounds this way, and then a couple rounds the other way. So you'll shift the direction of your hips, inhaling as the heart draws forward, exhaling as the hips draw back. And of course, when we connect to the breath with this motion, what happens is that if we really want to take intentional full inhales and exhales, it is a guide for us to remember how to slow down. Because in many cases, movement like this, we're going to want to rush through it. We want to go to, get it done. Bing, bang, boom, let's go. But you know what? Take your time. And if at any moment you feel like you want to bring your neck into it, or if there's other kinds of intuitive movements with the hips and the shoulders and the neck that feel right here, I want you to allow your body, as awkward as you feel it might look, to completely embody that motion. All right, one more circle this way. The next time the hips draw back towards the feet, allow yourself to come into a child's pose. So you can take a wide child's pose with the knees coming apart from each other and the toes coming together, or you can make it where the knees are aligned with the hips. It's really up to you whether you feel like you need some space in your center. So we'll first allow the hips to draw back towards the feet. Then maybe we can walk the fingertips forward and away from us. And then we allow the belly and the heart to settle down. Right? And then we can take some breaths here once we're settled into this, into our heart space, but along our back body. So we have this beautiful area of reception. So not just about, again, giving love, showing joy, offering fun and happiness and love and compassion. But what about receiving? And our back body is the space where we are most receptive. So if we breathe into our heart right in the center of our back body, or in some way bring those nostrils to that space, let's just get intentional about what we are calling in, what are we receiving? And then just for 2 more breaths here, soften, allow yourself to settle into the ground a bit further, because it has you. You are supported. And again, just a simple scan of the body in most times will reveal, yes, that we are resisting. And we have to just remind ourselves just that we are safe to release into our foundation and into our support. So I'm going to let you guys stay here as long as you want. If the child's pose, feels really good for you right now, then you can stay. If not, I'm going to invite you to come out of it and slowly flip onto your back. Certainly, if you are in a seat and you're not on the ground, again, just maybe hands on the heart, allowing yourself some time to remember how to not only be still, but to allow yourself to enjoy that rest and digest mode. As soon as we're in a seat and where it's really grounded, or even if our back body is along the ground, the body will automatically come into that parasympathetic response, which is that rest and digest, that restorative time for you, just for you to allow like a retreat inward, for you to actually just be and embody yourself as a human being instead of a human doing. because we are in fact beings and we're allowed to just be. So I'm going to let this be your time, the next 3 to 5 minutes. And I'll be back very shortly. Just let your breath get really soft. If you want to have the eyes closed, that's wonderful. And just be with you. And so again, you can stay there as long as you want to. There is no need for anybody to move before they're ready. I want to thank Jessica for not only putting this on, putting this together, but I want to thank her for offering me the opportunity to sing for y'all, because I don't often get asked to do it, and it felt really good to be asked, if that makes sense, right? And also just going back to what my good friend Jen was talking about, as far as some form of, any form of release that is creative specifically to you and your truth and your true essence, is a really amazing, turns itself very easily into an amazing self-care practice. So and again, back to what Jen was talking about allowing for play and allowing that childlike nature to come back into our lives. This, not specifically the keyboard, but singing and songwriting was my thing from a very young age. And just to get personal for a moment, that the opportunity to do so and be supported doing so and feel comfortable doing so wasn't always available to me. So being this person who over the last couple of years has started to slowly prioritize, and then in much bigger ways prioritize, her wellness and her self-care, and coming out of a space of not feeling very deserving of doing so, has allowed me to connect to this very, very true part of myself that I'm slowly but surely able to now offer into not only my offerings, my business, but also just as a way of making everyone understand how important it is to be you. This is an offering to myself right now of self-love that gets to also hopefully have some effect on everybody. So this is one of my favorite songs. I'm going to play Brave by Sarah Bareilles. And just bringing it all together, this is about speaking your truth. So if we can get beyond some of those blocks that are causing that resistance energetically and spiritually for us, we can speak our truth. We can be brave. We can actually feel comfortable being our full selves and being authentic with everyone and being present. And that's what we want. That's what we want. We want to be able to love ourselves, to completely, you know, to embody that as we move into the world. So here it goes. And if I mess up, I know you guys love me. Let's make sure you can hear me, right? You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you could start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle beneath your skin. Kept on the inside with no sunlight, sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Falling for the fear and a little disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. Don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out from the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Oh, say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you be brave. Whew, sweating.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, guys.
Amazing.
Obviously, Sarah Bareilles, if you want the real version. Thanks, just
Amazing.
been wonderful.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. I feel refreshed. I don't know about you guys, but I want to thank everyone for being here, and I want to open it up to questions. So if you have a question, just go ahead, flip your video on, unmute yourself. If you cannot do that, but you have a question, you can also pop it in the chat box. I can actually start because I have a question from Akili. And then as you guys are thinking of your questions, just go ahead and unmute and unvideo or pop them in the chat. But Makili, when you do your sort of shower or candle ritual, do you have
mantras or sayings or anything that you speak or think?
So it really depends on the situation. My self-love journey has caused me to like heal childhood traumas. And one of the big things that I struggle with is feeling safe and provided and protected. So when I take the showers, especially if I've had like a fight with my husband, or something happened to where like my anxiety is going high, I'll tell myself like I am safe, I am protected, I create my own reality. So you can definitely create some affirmations, and I love to turn limiting beliefs into affirmations and then repeat those to myself throughout the day and in the shower as well. So it really depends on what the negative energy is about, if that makes sense.
How would you do that? How would you turn a limiting belief into an affirmation? Because I know that a lot of women in this group struggle with some limiting behaviors and beliefs around self-worth and around, eating emotionally and deserving to be happy and deserving to find their emotions and feel their emotions as opposed to soothing them with food. So can you give us an example of flipping the switch there?
I actually wrote a blog post about this, and I can put the link to it. But so what I do is I will get like a piece of paper and I'll write down what my limiting belief is, because I have been aware of mine. If you don't, then think back to like your childhood and maybe like a traumatizing event that happened and something has stuck with you. That's probably a limiting belief for you. But for me, like I have struggled with body image and being overweight because when I was growing up, my family used to always pick on me and call me like chunky monkey or tell me that I needed to stop eating so much. So as an adult, especially after I had my kids and I gained a lot of weight, I struggled a lot. So what I would do is my limiting belief would be I'm worthless because I'm overweight. And that was a limiting belief that held me back. And so I would think, why do I have this in the first place? Because of all the times growing up in high school, even when I had my kids and started gaining weight, all of the people telling me, oh, you would look so much prettier if you would lose 50 pounds, or you shouldn't eat a honey bun, or I would think of all those times and realize that those people were projecting their own hurt on me. Like maybe they're not happy with their body image, so they're voicing how they feel about themselves to me. My weight does not affect anybody else but me, and as long as I'm happy with that, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So taking that from I'm worthless because I'm overweight and realizing the story behind it and turning it into I love the body that I have because it's provided my children, is provided my reality, and it's provided my self-confidence. And really just working through those 3 steps and then writing your limiting belief and rewriting your story as, so who cares if I have 50 pounds of extra fat than you do? Like that's just me getting to love myself more. You know what I mean? And in the blog post, it has like a step-by-step what to do, but it's really acknowledging your limiting belief, acknowledging why you have that limiting belief, and then shifting it from somebody else's belief of you that you have adapted into how you can use it to empower you. And that's really what I do. And then just repeating those affirmations whenever I get out of the shower and I'm having a bad day and I see myself in the mirror, I'll tell myself like my body has created the life that I have today, and I love the life I have today.
I love it. Sam just put a good switch in there in the chat. Limiting belief, self-care is selfish. Yes, we hear that a lot. Mantra, I am just as deserving of care of the people I care. I am just deserving of care of the people I care for. I love it. I love it. I love it. Amazing. Guys, what are your questions? The floor is open. What are your questions or comments or your biggest takeaways? You can unmute, pop them in the chat. I'm sure that, someone has a question, not just me, because I have more, but go ahead, unmute you guys, pop them in the chat. Okay, Jen, I'll ask. Jen, you had talked a little bit about like finding self, and you were talking, I know you had talked to me about like one of the things that you wrote to me was like, have you ever felt like you were just going through the motions every day? Like, who do you really want to be, right? And we talk a lot about like finding your purpose, finding your passion. Like, can you speak to that about, I mean, that's a real, like really loaded question and that you could probably talk about for hours, but like sort of the shortened version of like, yeah, like what do you do when you feel stuck? Like you're going through the motions every day and you've like lost your sense of purpose.
Well, the first thing is use any of these techniques that we've learned today. I mean, that's the core of everything, right? That's why I'm creating a tsunami of self-love, is it's that coming back to self and slowing down, that immediate pause. So when you feel like you're just spun out, or you're, if you're building a business and you're spun out, if you're in a relationship and you're just spinning, it's that moment of use whatever practice it is that gets you present, grounded, like go outside, put your feet in the dirt, think for a minute. It can be something so simple. Take a shower. I love showers. Like talking about showers, I'm like, oh, who hasn't had an epiphany in the shower? But it's really starting to ask yourself, like, who am I? And I'm not talking about that surface level. Hi, I'm Jen. I have a master's degree in all these things. And I'm, like, no, it's like, what's your energy of being here? How are you honoring yourself? What is it that's actually something that you desire? That's your second question. What do I actually desire? For years, I was like, I want a horse rescue. I want to be super rich because I want to own a horse rescue. I don't want to own a horse rescue, but it felt noble for me to say I wanted to rescue animals. Do I want horses and a big ranch and to make a lot of money? Yeah, I do. And I have good things that I want to do with it. But it's actually taking that moment to say, like, am I saying this to please others? Or am I saying this to please myself? It's always coming back to, what is it that I want? What is it that I desire? Like Sam said, self-care is not selfish. And I hate the saying, more than anything, if you can't pour from an empty cup. I don't know why that just triggers me so much, but it is so true. You can only have so much energy to pour out of you with the energy you put in. So finding self is really about asking yourself the hard questions and not just saying, I mean, last year I went to Costa Rica and our first question was, who am I? I sat there for the 20-minute journaling session and I couldn't even write my name on the page because I had lost myself so much. I literally wrote out, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? For 20 minutes. And then we went around and had to share. And let me tell you, when I had to share, like, here's my page of just the words, who am I? It made me realize, slow down. What's yours? What feels good? What's honoring yourself? And making some hard decisions, whether that's shedding something that doesn't serve you, shedding someone, whatever it is, you really have to take that moment to pause. So that's the shortened version. I don't know if that answers your question, because I could go on for hours, but when you're spun out, that present moment is what's going to save you.
Sam, thank you for throwing in your contact. And Jen, if you want to also throw in how to like get in touch with you if anyone has any further questions. Mikili, you put in your blog post, which I imagine maybe is part of your website, but if you have any other connecting information, that would be really great, and I can share it with everyone else. All right, ladies, who else has a question? Anything that you
got
a takeaway? Yeah, Karen, go ahead.
What if you have, like with meditation, what if you have trouble relaxing? Like that seems to be my problem, is getting to the point of relaxing. And then when I am doing a meditation, even I can feel myself tensing back up and Or somebody will ask me, why are you so tense? Where I think I'm actually not, but apparently I am. So is it just a process that happens over time, or is it just some people just can't ever get out of that feeling?
I'm going to direct that one to Heather. Heather, you
Yeah, I
want
feel like Sam like probably has a beautiful like trauma response because the body remembers and your body is resisting relaxation. So giving yourself permission to really surrender and sink in and to celebrate the moments that you feel, oh, I didn't feel tension. I didn't feel calm. Because when we focus on what is going well rather than what isn't, then we are able to experience more of those moments. Like, ooh, there was a moment in between that I wasn't thinking. Or, ooh, my body, well, I think I actually relaxed, right? And so I think we try to force because we want to be over here so desperately with everything in life on any journey, including meditation. So, you know, maybe starting with shorter meditations and working your way up instead of like, oh, I should be relaxed for 20 entire minutes. I mean, for a 20-minute meditation, sometimes it takes me a full 17 to 19 minutes to like shut it up. And then I have a minute of silence. I'm like, okay, finally, that's what I was waiting for. And really, like everyone today said, releasing judgment, right? And meditation and yoga and all these practices are a practice. And so I do challenges to create accountability because it's a muscle, right? To be practiced. So if you're just showing up every once in a while, then you're probably going to repeat that experience of resistance. So showing up consistently with an open mind, like what can this offer me today? And truly surrendering. And oftentimes I recommend movement first to really just like get the wiggles out. So when I work with one-on-one clients, we dance first or do yoga first, and then we sit down. So it's like very meditative movement, or go for a walk and then meditate. Because a lot of times the body's so activated, right? It wants to move. So maybe releasing tension through movement and then finding the silence and the calm. I feel like Sam might have a different perspective answer. She's just trained in different things than I, but and just, you know, speaks to different points. But I hope that was helpful.
Thank you.
Sam, do you
Yeah,
have a take on that? Do you want to add anything?
do,
And if you
I
guys
do.
have other
I mean,
questions, pop them in.
I think that Heather answered beautifully. I mean, and that's the thing, the surrender is, you know, surrender is my word for this year, by the way. And so I love that it's like continually popping up, of course, left and right, everywhere I look. But that really is it. It's about surrendering on many levels, but specifically to your own process. Like, think about how limiting and sort of resistant and tight it feels to try to do something for yourself, and even have that be a thing that you need to fit into a box, that you need to do just right. And that, and you know, and yes, of course, I'm not going to go down the trauma response rabbit hole because we'll be here all day, but we talk about trauma and a lot of people go towards like acute trauma or abuse, or, you know, like something very physical, you know, shock trauma, things like that. But the truth is that we're all healing from our own big and little t traumas. And even just the response or reaction or feeling that we have to do something just so is a trauma response. It is something where we have such a hard time surrendering because it was potentially not safe for us to just be us. It was potentially not safe to just do it our way because we would either be judged or not accepted or not receive love or not be well liked or whatever it was because of that. So it is a trauma response. And, you know, again, it's not even something where, oh, okay, so now I'm a traumatized person and now I have to embody that. And now I have to identify with that. We don't really want to go down that road either. But it's just the idea of like, okay, is that what I want? Is that mine? Do I keep that, or do I pass that on? Do I let that go? And so even if it's just like, okay, the next time you sit down and those ideas come in, it's all about awareness. We need awareness, and which is what we're doing right now. We need awareness of these things so that when that happens the next time and we feel that tension, or our mind drifts, or we're judging ourselves hard for not doing it right or whatever, now we have the awareness piece that comes in and, oh, this is why I do that. Okay, so I'm going to be a little kinder to myself. And we do that. And sometimes we're in that awareness phase for a long time until the nervous system is ready to actually integrate and actually come out of that in a more meaningful way. So surrender, back to surrender, right? Surrender to the timeline as well, because it isn't going, it's not an on-off switch. We all wish it was, right? But yeah, of course, the benefits, once you allow it to be and this is why we call it a practice, right? It's not just, okay, we dip in and we dip out. It's a practice, meaning we have a discipline around it that, and that's why it's so awesome that Heather does these challenges for the accountability aspect. But it's a practice in that it's going to look different every day. And we're literally just practicing. We're not trying to perfect anything. We're not trying to master anything. And yeah, anybody who tells you different or pokes you and goes, how come you look so tense? How come you look so, how come you can't relax? Maybe that's something to consider as what those blockages are in our lives to getting beyond getting beyond the reason why we have this trauma response every time is because of the messaging that we get and what we allow ourselves to absorb. So it's all good. It's all good in the hood.
The concept of mindfulness, and I'm going to give you the definition if you guys don't know it already, from Jon Kabat-Zinn, who's really like the big founder of the mindfulness, based stress reduction movement. Mindfulness comes into the practice of so many things, right? Like mindfulness with yoga, mindfulness in meditation, mindfulness in eating, mindfulness in just intentionality of what you do. And so in order to do that without, feeling like, how you were explaining, Karen, like there's a key word in the definition that we have to remember. So the definition of mindfulness is paying attention on purpose. So like with intention, paying attention on purpose in the present moment. So not in the past, not in the future, non-judgmentally. And that's the key word. So paying attention on purpose with intention in the present moment, in the here and now, non-judgmentally. It's simply observation. It's simply intentionality around the now, around the here and now, what you're doing right now, now, in the present, without judgment. And like Heather was saying, like, you're going to feel like, you're going to feel the tense, you're going to feel the release, you're going to feel the garbage, you're going to feel it, you're going to listen and think the thoughts, but we can't judge that. We just let it and we acknowledge it. And there's a difference between acknowledging the shitty thoughts or the shitty feeling or the tension versus not judging it. We just, all right, go back to your breath. Okay. Go back to your ways. Like it's non-judgmentally. I like that definition so much because it can apply to so many like facets of how mindfulness can come into play in our lives.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, please do.
This always like triggers more. And I love shifting our perspective. So this is a theme, right? This is a pattern. All right, this comes up when I meditate. Well, good, because let's get it out of the way. Like, I'm so glad I'm going to experience this because I'm so ready for what's on the other side of it. Good. Bring it on. Let's get tense. Just like, in Sam's stretch, let's get tense on purpose. Bring it on because I'm just going to let it go. And then that's the beauty of like, what paradoxes and opposites and like polarity, the beauty of like, all right, fine, bring it on because I'm ready for what's on the other side. So we get to look at life that way versus this like, oh, this keeps happening. Why does this keep happening? Okay, this keeps happening to me. fine, let it happen because I'm ready for this now.
I love it. I love it. It's like busting through fear to get to the other side. What is there? It's why we have to live in a place of, discomfort sometimes. You guys, the best place of growth is that in which you are not comfortable. And I love helping each and every one of you guys explore those fears and explore the places of discomfort and push you to a place of discomfort because of how much growth and potential and insight, and it's all from a place of love, even if it doesn't feel so, because feeling uncomfortable doesn't actually feel great in the moment. But what happens when you go over to the other end and the other side is so worth it. It's so worth it to get out of your own way. Amazing. Who else has questions or like takeaways? Does anyone want to share like their biggest takeaway or have a question for these absolutely lovely ladies who I want to be super respectful of their time? So we're pretty much wrapping up, but we can take one more question. If anyone has one, pop it in. Don't be shy. You guys are not shy people. You're all like hiding behind your videos. You guys are like never shy. Please, these are the most like judgment-free, amazing ladies like ever. And you guys are so funny. So if anyone has anything else, no? All right. Well, it has been an absolute just amazing opportunity to have you guys here. Each and every one of you brings so many wonderful things to the table to explore and to learn. And I hope everyone enjoyed this. This is, oh, thanks, Sam. I'm going to copy that link in Open Heart. Amazing. Virtual yoga class this Saturday. Cool. All right. Yeah. If you guys have any other resources or anything else that you want me to share with the group, I'm going to put together, I'm going to collect all this from the chat, and then I'm going to share it with everyone in our event space. So in our group. So feel free to pop whatever you want to pop over there. That way, we got a glimpse of who you are, and this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Heather. That was what we were referring to before. Amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for doing this, for all of these like amazingly wonderful women in this group. I'm sure the replay is going to be fantastic. There's a lot of people who are at work right now who are just couldn't make it, and they will watch the replay. And I'm so grateful for all of you guys. Thank you so much. And if anyone also wants to just provide any feedback to me, that would also be appreciated. I'm sure the ladies would appreciate that too. So you guys can message me privately if you'd like, or shoot me an email and let me know what your thoughts were. It's always nice to have just good feedback so we can keep doing really wonderful events like this. All right, ladies, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful hump day. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk soon. Take care, guys.